Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bill here with Mad Max and Max Length the Pole. And today we're doing more of an overview than a review. But before we dive into that, make sure you follow me on Instagram at MadMaxLOP. Make sure you're checking out MaxLOP.com for the write-ups on stuff that I think need a little more nuance than just this talking head stuff. So you get a little more into the weeds if you can read good. And then if you want to help the channel financially, patreon.com/MadMaxGuns. But as you saw in the introduction, the title, the thumbnail and all that, we're doing something somewhat unlike me. We're doing a Marine Corps Recon M4 clone here. We are clear, safety on. Like I said, there's... performance-wise, there's not much to be said about these, as it is, for lack of a better term, an M4, a Colt 6920. But there are some little doodads on here that make it pretty cool, and I know there's a lot of people that have like an affinity for the GWOT and rifles used for it. So, and then there's cloners out there, and then on top of that, my buddy Matt at Observer Up on Instagram let me borrow it just because he's a nice guy, and also because I wanted to buy an ACOG, and we'll get to that later. But like I said, it's more going to be an overview, and then at the end we'll just talk about my experience with it. We'll go front to back just because it's easier that way. Up front we have a close-time war comp here. Is that clone correct? I don't know. Wasn't in Recon in the Marine Corps. Was never in the Marine Corps. Go Army, hooah. But yeah, it's a pin and welded close-time war comp. He uses it to mount cans too. But yeah, I mean, I've always had been a big fan of the close-time war comps. It's an A2 flash hider with a little bit of compensation there, so it works, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The upper is just a 6920 or an M4 upper with the CAC RAS rail. I don't even think it's RAS rail. It's just a regular CAC quad rail that's not free floated. But it's got the nice ergo extension, quad rail extension here, because that is surely aesthetically pleasing. Down below here, we have a broom handle that's chopped down, a little shorty broom handle. I'm not a huge fan of it, especially with this ergo grip where you can put your hand, because I ended up putting my thumb on the front sight base, front sight post, whatever you want to call it, a lot, and it gets hot because it's a gas block, and I burned my thumb. You got the CAC rail covers because clone life. Up front here for a sling point, you got the CQD with the HK hooks. Fan of that. It is just a regular Colt keyhole forged upper, and you got a regular Colt bolt carrier group. Up top here, ACOG RCO. That is what the Marine Corps were issued. It is not the standard ACOG with the fucking upside down peace sign and a little penis hanging underneath. This is the horseshoe. The bullet drop compensation in there is more in line for a 62 grain. I was shooting pretty much strictly 55 grain through this, and I was having some problems with it, plus my eyesight isn't what it used to be. But again, we'll talk about my thoughts on the ACOG afterwards. But it is an ACOG on a LaRue mount. Back here, CAC flip up sight. Never took the sight off, never took the ACOG off, so never had to deal with it. Back here, gas buster, PRI gas buster. If it's not clone correct, it should be, because these are a very nice charging handle. I prefer these probably more to anything than a Raptor. I do like the Geislys, but no, these are very nice. Big chonky, but they're not ambi. Not that that really matters, but the lower, standard Colt M4 lower. It's a Colt lower. Got the nice little UID tag. Aesthetically pleasing. It's got all the junk on there. Trigger. Just a standard mil-spec trigger. Very crisp, a little heavy, probably 5-7 pounds, somewhere in there, but incredibly smooth. I mean, as you can see, I didn't have any problem getting some decent splits with it. It is very surprising that how smooth this whole setup chugged. Inside the lower, we have an H2 buffer. That's what's used on the M4s these days. And got a regular buffer tube here, and the B5 SOP mod with a little bit of two-tone in there just because it looks cool. The sling is a friend of Matt's, and let me see here, I don't want to get it wrong. Stratagem branch. Marine Corps vet. Got the Marpat on here. It's a nice sling. It's just as good as all the other nice slings that come out this. It's just as nice as all the other slings these days. Your Vickers sling, the Blue Force Gear sling, Ferro Concepts. I am partial to Ferro Concepts. That's just me. The Edgar Sherman designs are also nice, but this nice does all the same shit. Now, as for performance, a lot of this comes down to me as the shooter. Out at distance, I wasn't getting up close. It's a banger, but again, I'm left-eye dominant. I shoot right-handed. To shoot the ACOGs at close distances, you got to shoot both eyes open. Kind of gets wonky with me. I should have learned how to shoot lefty, but I didn't, so here we are. But you can shoot both eyes open. You just got to do some mental gymnastics if you got cross-eye domination like myself. But it's like 50 yards, very quick, nice and easy. As the precision of the gun itself with ball ammo, it's a standard M4, 2 to 3, maybe 4 ammo with ball ammo. But, you know, that it is what it is. And I took it out to, let's see, the furthest I made an impact with it was 660. But that was just tracking, I was chasing bullets, tracking the splash. 540 yards where I didn't have a good backdrop. I made a couple impacts, not very consistently, but out to 300 yards. This was no problem at all, as it shouldn't be on a 2/3 size silhouette. From not standing, but kneeling, supported on rocks and such, and prone, out to 300, no problems at all. But this ACOG, with my eyes these days, and you got no ocular adjustment, so like it is what it is. I was having a hard time reading the BDC on it, but as a whole, I'm glad I borrowed this and I didn't buy one. With the price of low power variable optics these days, you can get quality ones for half of it. Decent quality ones. I'm doing a lot with the Arkin EP8 right now, and that's less than half the price of one of these. And for what I'm doing, I'm not trekking mountains, I'm not getting into gunfights. I'm a range monkey at this point when it comes to gas guns and close range stuff. I just go out and have fun, do some training, and that is perfectly enough for me. I think for me personally, I'd stick with that. The nostalgia of this, like when I served, this is what I walked around with and what I qualified on and everything, but it wasn't the RCO reticle, it was the little, with the little wiener hanging underneath. And it's nice. It would be a range toy for me, but practically speaking, I'm more of a low powered variable optic guy, or just a red dot guy, because even a red dot magnifier out to 300 yards, yeah, if you can't hit a red dot 300 yards supported, maybe you shouldn't be buying ACOGs to begin with. No offense, but didn't mention before, B5 grip. I don't think that was issued, but you know, shooter preference these days, and it's a very comfortable grip. Big fan of these. And like I said earlier, the whole system, carbine gas length, H2 with all this, the mil-spec trigger, you can still run it. You can still like get some good splits and everything. It's very comfortable, very soft shooting, and it's just a good time. It gives me warm feelings in my tum-tum. Performance-wise, shot it out, like I said, out to 300, no problems. If you're using heavier ammo, match grade stuff, I'm pretty sure 5, 6, 7 with an ACOG is not, those are hundreds of yards, would not be an issue at all. Like I said, up here, I probably would have opted to use something that I could have put on and didn't have, like, from the side and didn't have to slide on, because as you can see where my hand is placed, it's not very comfortable, a little bit far out, and plus with these ACOGs, you kind of got, with the eye relief, you got to get up close on it, so I'm probably showing this right here. I would have rather have it right here and come over, but that is a me problem. M4, guys, GWOT M4, it is fun, it is nostalgic, it's a good time, and most importantly of all, the 7th principle of patrolling, it looks cool. But that's it. Shout out to all the Marine Corps guys there, Recon guys. If you use one of these, drop your comments, what you thought on the rifle. If you have any fun GWOT stories, drop them in the comments as well. If you have any more questions, I'll try to answer them, or I'll find the answer for you and I'll drop them in the comments. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to do that. Tell your friends, your girlfriends, your wives, boyfriends. Apparently, there's a lot of wives, boyfriends out there. Who knew? If you're into that sort of thing, better man than me. But yeah, everyone, subscribe. Like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, as always, eat a dick. Make sure you're subscribe to Instagram. Check out the Patreon. Check out the website. Peace.